message that should have never reached them. Before Amy Bradley vanished, the case was simple. A missing daughter, a devastated family, a ship that claimed it saw nothing. But what came after the disappearance was so disturbing that investigators now believe Amy's story was never a simple disappearance. It was a containment. Because one night, long after the cameras stopped rolling and the world moved on, the Bradley family received a message. Not a rumor, not a tip, a warning that came from someone who should not have known their names, someone who should not have known their movements, someone who should not have known exactly how close they were getting. The message was short, only 2 words. Stop searching, but it wasn't the words that terrified investigators. It was the timing. Because the warning was sent minutes after the Bradleys contacted a specific investigator, a man who was preparing to follow a lead the public never knew existed. A lead that placed Amy in a location so dangerous that even investigators refused to speak it out loud for years. And that's when the truth hit them. Someone was watching the Bradley family in real time. Someone with access to communications. Someone who monitored their calls, their emails, their movements. Someone who responded the moment the search got too close. This was not intimidation. This was intervention. And the real question became, was the warning sent by the people who took Amy or by someone trying to keep her alive just a little bit longer? Because investigators later discovered something chilling. Right after the warning was sent, Amy was moved. Not days later, not weeks later, hours. Someone out there was playing a silent game, moving Amy like a ghost, watching the family like shadows, and burning every trail whenever hope got too close. This is the story of that shadow, the person who knew too much. The Bradley family never knew it, but the moment they started their private investigation, someone else started watching them. Patterns emerged later. Patterns no one noticed at the time. Every time the family called a new investigator, a new informant, a new agency overseas, an anonymous reaction followed. A flight changed, a hotel room was emptied, a witness disappeared, and one location connected to Amy went dark as if someone erased it overnight. Investigators who reviewed these timelines years later realized something unnerving. Someone with insider access was tracking every step the Bradley family took. Phone records were scanned at odd hours. Personal emails showed signs of silent forwarding. And physical surveillance, shadows in parking lots, unknown vehicles outside hotels, followed the family through multiple countries. But the scariest detail was that the person watching the Bradleys didn't behave like a kidnapper or a criminal or someone hiding a crime. Their behavior looked like something else. Someone trying to prevent a sudden move. Someone trying to keep Amy in one place. Someone trying to keep her reachable. A hidden ally. One witness later said something investigators never forgot. She wasn't lost, she was held, but someone out there kept her from being moved too far. If that witness was right, then the warning wasn't a threat. It was a last attempt to protect Amy from being transferred to a location where she would vanish forever. A final line of protection that no one knew existed. But protection from who? And why did that protection fail? That answer arrived only when investigators discovered the final message, the last trail before everything went silent. The Bradley family always believed they were chasing Amy, but the truth is terrifying. Amy was being moved because someone was chasing them. Someone who knew the Bradleys were getting close. Someone who knew exactly where Amy was. Someone who knew that if the family pushed too hard, Amy's captors would relocate her so far no one would ever find her. And then, just when the family uncovered the strongest lead they ever had, the silent observer made one last move, a final message. A message that investigators found years later buried inside an encrypted archive meant to never be opened. It contained only a single sentence. You were days away from reaching Amy, days away from exposing the people who took her, days away from forcing the truth into daylight. And then everything stopped. Surveillance ended. Shadow movement ceased. Phone monitoring went silent. Every trail connected to Amy went dark like a switch turned off by someone who no longer needed to watch. The silent observer vanished. The warning stopped. Leads dried up overnight. And just like that, Amy was gone again. Not because the family failed, but because someone behind the scenes lost the ability to protect her or lost their life trying. The final truth is the coldest part. The Bradleys weren't searching alone. They were in a race against someone who wanted Amy alive and someone who didn't. And the moment the family got too close, the race ended and the world went silent.